A politician telling a cop that that journalist can't ask a question in public in a free country, and the cop going over and saying, yeah, no, you can't ask a question. This is Canada, not Venezuela or Cuba. Yep. We don't have cops acting as the enforcers against journalists to protect politicians. That's not how it works in this country, mister.
I attempted to ask him this question, but guess who came to his rescue for my question? Did you see that? A federal police officer ordering me to sit down as if I'm his dog.
Mr. Singh, visible minorities have a much lower rate of getting vaccinated. Are you going to convince them or are you going to coerce them?
I wasn't expecting that. I felt stressed. I was gambling with an RCMP officer by not obeying his order.
Isn't vaccine passport a form of systemic racism?
We'll convince them.
You will convince them? Are you an RCMP officer?
Yes.
Okay. I was told that I'm welcome to stay here.
Yeah. And you're also told you're not allowed to ask a question.
That's why I didn't line up.
Okay, we're done here.
Oh, you might be done with me, but I'm not done with you.
Can I get your name and badge number, please? Can I get your name and badge number?
It's okay. With a little bit of wind too. Yeah.
Officer, can I get your name and badge number, please?
Very good, amazing job.
You just blocked me from asking a question. Can I get your name and badge number, please? You have to tell me your name and badge number. You engaged with me, so I'm asking you. Yeah, you told me to sit down. You told me not to ask a question.
Oh, no, I was just repeating what person from...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you have the authority of the law, and it's not illegal to ask a question. I just want your name and badge number, please.
My badge number is 41680.
But let's get back to Mr. Singh's answer and examine it.
Convince them.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Well, first off, Sheila, so much to unpack there, but for all the Rocky and Bullwinkle fans who posed the question over the decades, whatever became of Dudley Do-Right? Well, you have your answer. He's the hired security for Jagmeet Singh. But let's start from the beginning, which is the NDP flack telling Mocha that it is policy, NDP policy, not to take questions from rebel journalists. And I witnessed that firsthand when Kian Bexte at the parliamentary debate had his two questions to Jagmeet Singh. And he said that I do not take questions from rebel news or rebel media at the time. Here's the thing, Sheila. Humans, not some software program, make policy. What is the ostensible policy reason for this policy of not taking questions from us? That's what I want to hear from them. They can't answer that. So what is the unspoken strategy in terms of this being their policy not to answer our question, Sheila?
Because we're going to point out that they are a bunch of raging hypocrites. When you stand up in the House of Commons and you say the RCMP are systemically racist, and then you want the RCMP to enforce vaccine passports on the people who are largely vaccine skeptics, like the minority population in Canada, how do you not, first of all, carving minorities out of society and participation in society and enjoyment of their lives, the left keeps telling me that's systemic racism. So how does Jagmeet's policy not amount to systemic racism? How does using the racist RCMP, his words not mine, how are you going to ensure that that is not going to be unfairly applied and put minorities in the hands of these racists that Jagmeet Singh keep telling me the RCMP are? They don't want anybody to ask him a question like that. And they know that the mainstream media is never going to ask him a question like that because they're all in love with him. He checks all the identity boxes. He's cool. He's on TikTok. So they are uncritical of him completely. You see this all the time with some of the other female ministers in Trudeau's cabinet who say the most ridiculous things, but they are gender appointments, they're quota appointments, they check a lot of identity boxes. They are, in a certain spot on the social justice hierarchy totem pole. And so the media leaves them alone. And it's the same thing happening here with Jagmeet Singh. We are just trying to hold politicians to account. Politicians of every stripe, of every ideology. We're going to ask you tough questions about the things that you said in public. That's all we're trying to do. And that's why they won't take questions from us.
You're 100% right, Sheila. And, let's just say on the night of September 20th, we witnessed the orange wave Christmas miracle. Let's say the NDP did the improbable thing of becoming our next government. Jagmeet Singh is too cowardly, too scared to take questions from the likes of Kian Bexte and Mocha. How, as Prime Minister, is he going to deal with the real tough guys in the world? Like, say, the Taliban? I mean, are you kidding me? If this is your style of leadership, that you can't handle insensitive or prickly questions, how do you deal with the tyrants in the world, of which there are many, Sheila?
Well, and, to dodge a question from Mocha, who is a visible minority and immigrant to this country, who has lived under a form of tyranny, to say that we won't take questions from Rebel News because they're far-right, alt-right extremists, those ridiculous things that they level at us, it couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah. We've got we're a very diverse company, and we don't need to defend ourselves against these allegations, but when you won't take questions from an immigrant, visible minority reporter, and I'm talking about the Liberals, the NDP, and the Conservatives here, that sounds like something an alt-right politician might do.
100%. And they are obviously unobservant to the irony there. Now, the second big piece of that excellent video Mocha produced was the RCMP officer. You're not allowed to ask questions. Who in blue hell does this guy think he is? First of all, we do have freedom of the press. Secondly, as I mentioned, this is actually happening, this event, in Mocha's riding. He lives in that neck of the woods. So he's a constituent as well as a journalist. And some jabroni with a gun is saying, you're not permitted to ask a question? What do you make of that, Sheila?
Well, when I was looking at that, I thought, when I saw that guy walk up and Mocha's like, that's a cop, Sheila. Those uniforms are a little bit more inclusive than they used to be, if you know what I mean. They're making them tactical pants and husky fit now. But preventing a journalist from asking a question, a politician telling a cop that journalist can't ask a question in public in a free country, and the cop going over and saying, yeah, no, you can't ask a question. This is Canada, not Venezuela or Cuba. Yep. We don't have cops acting as the enforcers against journalists to protect politicians. That's not how it works in this country, mister. Like, he looks like he's been a cop for a long time, a very long time. I don't think they're giving the NDP the A team or even the B team. That might be the Delta team of RCMP protection. But it looks like he's been a cop for a long time. How does he know so little about what we are allowed to do in a free country and what he's allowed to do to enforce it? Because, I was talking to a constitutional lawyer on my show on Tuesday night, which aired on Wednesday. By the way, if you want to take a sneak peek at all of our paywalled content during the election, just use the coupon code ELECTION when you subscribe, and you'll get all of it for free. And then you can decide if you want to go steady with us after the fact. But I was talking to a constitutional lawyer named Derek from Calgary, and we were talking about how the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is really a restraining order against the government. It's to protect you from cops and politicians taking away your free speech, which is exactly what that cop did to Mocha. Thank goodness, though, Mocha is not one to be intimidated by Canadian cops who've served a little bit too long in a uniform, because he's not scared of Turkish cops either.
Oh, hi. That was a clip from our Rebel Daily live stream. It's hosted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by the big boss man, Ezra Levant, and Tuesdays and Thursdays by me, Sheila Gunn Reid, and my good friend, David Menzies. On the live stream, we talk about the news of the day, we show some videos, and we interact with our viewers at home. We stream at 12 noon Eastern, 10 Mountain. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Super U, and Odyssey.